And yes, so I was right in spelling it Zeth.
Yes, sir, you were. And then how do I pronounce? Now, the one thing I never got, I tried to type in your last name. How do I pronounce it?
In German, it's Kobus.
Kobus. Okay.
Kobus. This is a quite it's quite an unusual name in Germany. You find it around Baltic and Netherlands, and they're more in the north.
Wow. That's really amazing. My family's actually from Finland, so
Ah, yes,
a little bit of that area, yeah.
yes, yes. but but it's quite special. The Finnish language is completely out of that normal stuff in Europe. Finnish and I get Hungarian. They have the same roots in language, so
Hmm.
they are very special.
Oh, I
So.
can imagine. I don't know any Finnish, but man.
And I forgot all about my Polish. I was born in Poland, actually,
Oh.
and forgot all about that.
Oh.
Yes, even talking to the mother of Lana and Lily, I didn't recognize any Polish words because she
Hmm.
had some.
Is that just something that you lose over time just due to not practicing it?
Yes, when we came to Germany in 1968, when I was 2.5 years old, my father didn't want us to speak Polish anymore.
Hmm.
He told us we are in Germany now, so we speak German, and it didn't feel good, and it was rubbed out of my brain, all the Polish language. I used it till I was 5 years old, but it faded away. It disappeared, and now it feels like being burned off. It's crazy. Whenever I work in Poland, whenever if I'm filming in Poland, there is no remembering or feeling familiar with the words. Crazy. It disappeared.
Hmm. Yeah, I guess that's kind of like Spanish for me. I took a lot of courses with that, and then you skip a few years, and it's out of your head.
Yes, it disappears so very fast. Yes, it can disappear very fast. Yes. How did you get the idea to do those interviews, to make those interviews?
For Speed Racer?
Yes.
So I love this movie with a burning passion more than anything. This was the movie that really got me into filmmaking and everything that has to do with a movie. And it came out at the perfect time for me as a kid because as a kid, I liked trains and, everything that moves, cars when you're a kid. And so then there's this movie coming out called Speed Racer. And, you see the trailers and it was like cars going crazy and people kicking each other and doing backflips. And I loved kung fu movies when I was a kid, so it looked crazy. And then I went to the theater, and it was like the most euphoric experience I've ever had in a movie theater. And it's still to this day my absolute favorite movie of all time. I can turn it on any time of the day, start quoting every single scene. I love everything that you are in personally in all the scenes. I think you're great in it. And so I just want to like start conducting little interviews with everybody and get everyone's little personal story about the movie because there's not a lot of behind the scenes stuff. Like I don't think you've ever talked about your own behind the scenes information on the movie, your thoughts. So I just think that would be really special.
Mhm. Great. Yes, yes, indeed. There was no, I had no interview till now about that movie, and I was not asked about the work on that movie. You're right. It's yes, it's some sort of secret. Yes.
Yeah, so I'm really excited for today. I the way I conduct my interviews is that I let you talk. Don't worry about me interrupting you, or if you want to go on a long little tangent, go ahead. I love just hearing you talk. You can tell your story completely.
Yes, I'll try to, and if I'm missing some words, I will have to ask you, I guess, because my English vocabulary is missing a lot of stuff I would like to express.
No, it's no problem whatsoever. So,
Mm.
if you want to go ahead and how did you become involved in the filmmaking industry in general, or why did you?
In general, yes, it was by accident. I started as a theater actor. I had my acting school in Munich, and after that, I was asked to go to Frankfurt, and then I was asked to go to Bochum, and then I decided to leave this wonderful theater. Was some sort of no, I was not far enough, not old enough, not calm enough to stand this crazy theater in Bochum, which was really great, really. But I guess I was right to leave it. And then I was asked to go to Stuttgart, to Zurich, to Vienna, and so on. And I always only just had to say yes or no. And then 2002, or it started in the last century. I got more and more unhappy with my work, and I was finding myself not being kind and not being fair, and I became somebody I didn't want to be. I didn't ever want to be, and so I decided, no, stop. That's enough. I will take the money from the Arbeitslosenamt that's waiting there for me for 1 year. And when there's nothing um, I really want to do, when there's nothing else that I'm asked to do, I will take a credit and open up a petrol station. That was my plan. But then a lot of nice projects came next to me, and I did a lot of crazy stuff. And one of this was Speed Racer. Yes, and they asked me for a very small part. Casting director Anja Dierberg invited me for a casting for a very small part, and I, I was some kind of wow with the Wachowskis. Wow, how crazy! I would like to know them. And so we did that casting in the casting office of Anja Dierberg. Um, and she called me 2 days later and said, Waldemar, yes, they like what you're doing and your way to perform, but they want you for a bigger part. They want you to play, they want to see you more often. Okay, let's do that casting, and we did it with the two of them on the other side of a video conference. And yes, they took me, and it started being great fun and a really impressing time.
Do you remember anything? So you talk about getting casted for Speed Racer. Do you remember anything about like reading the script or anything and you being like, wow, this is going to be special or anything like that?
No, from reading the script, I wasn't able to get an overview how it would look like, what working on it will be, how finding out and getting your thoughts into a canal. No, I couldn't imagine anything after reading that script. It was so fast and full and rich, and I couldn't imagine anything. I was really deeply curious. And, there was nothing I could scrap in, and yes, that's the way. Yes, that's how they will treat me, and that's how they want me to be. No, nothing. I was standing there like a child and being new in that cosmos.
Okay. So what about any memories from other actors or the production of the movie? What was like your some of your favorite memories?
Ah, lots of memories. Max Hopp, of course, I was quite familiar with him, and I saw him several times on theater, and he's a great actor. He's got understatement, and he's a wonderful guy. And Paulie, it was quite crazy with him. Although we only had very small appearances and scenes. The last scene when his chimp was beating me with the tool and so on. But although it was very it was a wonderful relationship. He and his mother, and for example, they did a Viking day. They took a golf caddy, and he made himself a Viking helmet with hornets, and they were driving around and invited me to join them. So I was sitting back to back on the car on the golf caddy and joined them on the ride through the studios and so on. He did real crazy stuff, and it was great fun. And one day when I returned from some takes on Unit 3, where we had to shoot some details, fingers tipping a navigation unit. Um, I passed the screens of the focus pullers. It was technical. It was unbelievable. One of the first digital cameras, Sony F1, when I remember that right, and it was thick cables like that, and you could feel the terabyte being pumped through it into big units of Speicher. How do you call it? Solid states. Solid state?
Yeah, solid state drives?
Yes,
Yes.
solid state and the turning drives, the Festplatte, how we call it. And it was stored there in big units. And the focus pullers had to do a very complicated job because handling the focus of those cameras was very complicated, and I stood behind of them, and they had their steering units, and look, they're like so far away from the screen into this corner and on the nose, and I was fascinated by those people pulling the focus. And then I started watching the scene going on. It was a close-up of Susan Sarandon, and she explained her film son, Emil, that what he's doing, how he's racing, is art. It's really big art and something very special, and his way to express himself. And as she was telling this, I saw it 5 times. And every time I almost started crying. I was so fascinated by this unbelievable actress, how she performed that. It was great, absolutely great. Was a very impressive moment. Lana, of course, and Andy. That time he used to be Andy, and that was they weren't colleagues, they weren't um, actors, but the way they directed that that brought me so deeply into following their humor, their kind of storytelling, and their kind of working it. That was impressing, and it really took me by heart. It I was torn into that story and into the way they work was really great for me, really deeply impressing. What fascinated me was the way Lana and Andy were working together. It was it was like they were two hemispheres of one brain. For example, there was a moment we were standing in the green studio, and Lana stepped to the scene, which was still empty. The filming didn't start. I was a bit too early and was standing around there and looking to the reference crosses that were fixed on the walls and on the bottom in lighter green. And Lana went from the corner where they both were sitting in front of big screens, and she stepped into the scene and pushed a stone a little bit, pushed it from the angle, and said very, very low voice, "Do you like it?" And from behind, from far um, of the hall, and he said, "Yeah, that's cool." And of course, there was some hidden mic or something like that, but I stood there and thought, yes, two parts, two hemispheres of the same brain. That's how they were working. Yes, great. The other thing was the way Lana was explaining. They let the cameras run all the time when we were repeating a shot. All the time it was running, and Lana jumped into and said, "And now do the next time, do it with a small, you know." Oh yes, yes. Of course, I didn't do it, but I played the whole scene, the whole take, as yes, what I expected to be a, and she, yes, Waldemar, once more, the same, yes, and from the back, always this sound from Andy. Yeah, that's cool. It was so fascinating. I loved it so much to perform, and the cameras running and performing and performing and cameras running and big data running through the wires. Yes,
Man,
that's also I wanted to tell this. Yes.
man, that's awesome. That's a lot of fun stories there. What about that? What about your favorite scenes? Was there any scenes specifically that you liked the best that you acted in?
Yes, of course, the truck scene, that was crazy stuff, and all the hydraulics and moving this whole space around. That was so it was filling me with joy. It was standing there and playing that story and getting those impacts into the aquarium and having to stop the water running out with my finger bitten off by the piranhas. It was that was so crazy, or jumping away from the bullet impacts of the machine gun. It was, and that was really a lot of handwork to prepare that, because the stage department had to prepare the wall with small, how do you call those capsules that explode? Sprengstoff, dynamite, small capsules that explode and throw away parts of the wall so
Hmm.
that it looks as a bullet flies into the wall, but at least the explosion comes out of the wall. And for preparing this, they needed one whole day. And we filmed this sequence, this very small sequence where I have to jump away from that 4 times. And timing was very complicated because there was no machine timing or something I could see in front, but in the back, somebody tried to look into the future. A guy from the special effects department, he had a grip with a cable, with a wire, and had to pass over a long row of contacts. And and with every touch of the contact, the bullets, the dynamite capsules exploded. And so we had to find out first, how will I move, and um, where's his cue, and it was so very fragile, this whole timing structure. And so we needed 4 times, and so by 4 days, for restoring the whole set and starting new.
Man, that's awesome. Paulie, he
Yes.
said hello. He said hello to you, by the way. He wanted me to give you his greetings.
Yes,
Um,
and telling him the same, that I'm so lucky I met him there, that I very very often think of of that crazy time, for example, with him and the chimp, and how he moved in this whole situation on this giant set where we were about 400 people each lunchtime at the catering. It was really a huge amount of people were running around to work on this crazy film, and the way he moved between all this was so sympathetic. I liked it so very much, and yes, his whole this whole person, Paulie, was wonderful. He was really great.
well, hopefully we can get y'all reunited one day. I would like to do that. Hopefully, if I can get enough interviews with everybody, we could do a big cast reunited someday. That
Would
would
be
be
a
fun.
great present to me. Yes, that would be a wonderful gift. So if anyhow possible, let's do this. A
Let's do it.
reunion. Yes.
But he was talking about a funny one too, because you were talking about how you had to do a take 4 times. He told a
Mhm.
funny story as well about how he had to do the same thing, but they put on way too big of or small of pants on him. So he had to jump over a couch one time, and on the last take, he ripped his pants. But that was a funny story that he told.
That's the the director of the costume designer, the lady who designed the costumes. She was almost the same size as Polly. Then she was very small, a blonde lady from Australia, and she was leading all this scenery directly before shooting started to make everybody ready for shooting. She was leading it and performing it like a queen. She was running around, was looking at me, and one moment, returned with a tie with a big lobster on that. "Hmm, you deserve this. You deserve this." And so the costume ladies changed my tie. It was only one minute before, some minutes before we started shooting that scene for the first time, and she was unbelievable, and so she was also the one to organize new pants for Polly. I
Mm.
didn't get this. I didn't know about this story. He ripped
Oh,
his.
it's a good one. I'll have to link you the interview that I had with him. It was great. He
Yes,
told a lot
wonderful.
of.
Send it to me.
I
Yes.
will. I will. So, what about when you were on set? Did you take anything from the set or any trinkets?
Pardon?
Did you take any props from the set?
And perhaps what you think things from the set?
Yeah,
Uh,
like any kind of things that you stole from set.
no,
No.
I'm afraid I forgot about that. Or was I too not faithful, but too uh, maybe I was missing criminal energy, although I played a criminal, but I do not remember stealing anything from the set, any props, something like that. No, no, I
Hmm.
didn't. Sorry.
Okay. No, that's okay. That's okay. Polly's got a
It's a
few
bit boring,
things.
I have to admit, but no, I didn't steal anything.
Hey, if you didn't, you didn't. No, that's fine.
Crazy.
That's fine.
Okay, thanks for taking my apologize. Thanks, but I didn't steal anything.
Oh man, Paulie's got a few things. He's got the main thing that he was telling me. He's got a duffel bag that Speed's packing in the movie. He owns that.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Well, yes, he did right. No, I didn't. But even if I would have done it, it would have been not that easy to bring it through the time because I moved uh, 6 times. We changed our flat very often because afterwards my wife worked in Vienna and in Frankfurt and in Cologne and in Berlin, a lot of time in Berlin, and we had to move very often with our flat and our home. Yes, so I'm not sure whether I would still own a souvenir or some props
Hmm.
from speed race. Maybe I would have lost them. So it's okay. They stay where I can almost think they are. Yes,
Hmm.
I'll keep them in mind.
Yeah.
But
Oh
the
man.
duffel bag, of course, is wonderful. Yes.
So when you got all finished filming, what was your reaction to when you first saw the movie before the critics came out with their reviews?
I saw it actually. I saw it on the opening night in cinema in Berlin,
Mm.
not before, and I
Okay.
liked it. I was so very fascinated of that fast and colorful movie, and this transformation of a tune into a real movie with human actors, but being filmed like a comic strip, like a tune. It was fascinating. I was sitting there and was so very glad that I appeared in that hilarious um, speed in this colorful run through that story. I loved it. I was fascinated. It overwhelmed me as the first days on set and the work on that overwhelmed me. It was unexpected. It was full of speed and color and I called it Amoklauf in der Gummibärchentüte, which is not easy to trans you have to find out. I can't translate.
Okay.
But it's full of colors and full of speed. Yes,
What about when finally the critical reception came out at the time?
didn't read any of them.
Oh,
I
okay.
stopped reading critics after my first performance on theater in 1991. There I read all the critics and I thought, oh no, they they looked at a different play. They didn't write names correctly. They had no idea of the music that was performed and where it came from. They wrote down wrong names of uh, music conductor and so on. And no, it was so disappointing. And I tried reading critics from time to time, but I stopped always after a few sentences. So I didn't get any critics about Speed Racer. Did
That's
you
fine.
read a lot of Speed Racer critics later on?
Yes, I did. Because as a kid, you think it's this amazing movie that did very successfully, but then you get a little bit older and you do the research, and it's like, oh, this came out at an inopportune time when, you guys were right off the cusp of Iron Man. You were right before Indiana Jones 4 and Prince Caspian as well. So you were kind of in this very tight weekend release. And then, yes, a lot of the reviews were very negative. They didn't get the colorful, candy-coated world that the Wachowskis
Candy.
made, or that someone like you, for example, now no one talked badly specifically about you, but like they would focus on how the characters are very cartoony, and it's like but that's the point. Like it's supposed to be this translated cartoon to live action.
Hmm.
So yeah, it's disappointing what a lot of people thought about it at the time.
So I'm very glad that I didn't read them
Mm,
because my own um, my picture that I kept in mind after this production was was matching the complete film as I saw it first in a wonderful way. I didn't expect this film to look like this, but
hmm
I, I saw, hey, it was absolutely right to do it this way. And it was absolutely visionary from Lana and Andy to lead us into this direction. It builds a wonderful construct and a wonderful movie, what they were driving us into and pushing us into. And so I'm very glad that I didn't read any critics.
Yeah, it's a good way to look at that with critics, you know. They don't know sometimes. Um,
Yes, sometimes they may be wonderful, but I haven't read any yet.
yeah,
So
that's good. Keep away from it. Keep that perfect picture.
yes,
Keep that
I'm
perfect
afraid I
picture in your
will.
mind.
Yes, I try to force myself from time to time, but I'm not successful, and I guess I'll keep away from it. Yes.
Yeah, it's considered now a cult classic, if you know what that is. But they are it's very much one of those movies where everyone looks back on it and considers it amazing. You know, anything about it was amazing.
Uh-huh.
And it's a very underrated movie is what they call it, or one of the movies that nobody was ready for at the time.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So that's what a lot of people consider it now. So
It,
it's good.
yes, it's I love that story. That to be in an underrated movie is very sympathetic, and that looking back to it, the people found out. Yes, maybe we weren't ready for it. Yes, and that's great.
Yeah.
But anyway, nobody can steal away that work from my not brain but remembering from my remembering, and nobody can steal away what I see and what I feel watching that movie. So
hmm
I'm so very fine with that, and nice to know that some other people do like it too. Yes.
Is there any sort of promotion that you want to talk about that you're currently doing, like any sort of movie that you're currently working on or that you're going to?
Yes, I'm looking forward to filming with Paweł Pawlikowski, also a Polish director, and we'll be filming in Poland. And it's a film about that visits of Thomas Mann,
Hmm.
the German author, um, visiting Germany for the first time after World War II. And it was in 1949, and he visited Frankfurt in the west part of Germany and Weimar, the very old city Weimar, where Goethe and Schiller, the classics of German writing, were living. And it was politically and from the from the way it was seen from the German people, it was very exciting and not undangerous story. It was quite crazy how people reacted to this guy whom they they told, "Oh, you left us, and we had that hard time during World War II, but you went away to America." And it was, well, that whole story is a bit frightening, or it's very frightening, and I'm looking forward to the work on this project. Yes, that's it. That's the reason why I'm looking like this. Some weeks ago, I had a beard like this and hair. Yes, the thin hair that's growing on my on my brain still, but I looked completely different. Forward to that, and I'm looking forward to a project, a very small project we are going to perform here in our theater in the small village I'm living. It's a private thing, and it's a melodram, so-called melodram, that's spoken word but matching music. The music is by Richard Strauss, and it the text, the lines follow the music in some parts of the story. There are phases of just reading, of just telling the story, but then there are also a lot of lines following the music, and that is new for me. And I do it together with my wife and with a wonderful piano player and conductor, and we are very, yes, we are looking forward to that.
Yeah, that'll be really sweet. I'm looking forward to that show that you'll be in. I'll have to look out for that.
And last year I did. Do you know Moondog, the musician Moondog?
Hmm, doesn't come to mind, but I'll look him up after.
Yes, look him after Lewis Hardin, and we did something about him. We had a small performance also here at theater with some jazz and electronic musicians. And
Hmm.
we had one big performance with the whole orchestra of Weilheim. And we performed it in an old auctionery hall for animals, you know, where animals were sold in former times.
Hmm.
And this hall has got a fantastic acoustic, and we performed there the Moondog pieces.
Okay, I'll look that up. I'll listen to some.
He was in the 60s, I guess, 60s or 70s in New York. He was living on the street and performed on the street and was so very popular and famous that the Hilton New York didn't show its address in advertisement or on their cards, but they only wrote Hilton, New York, opposite of Moondog, and that was quite crazy. There's no address, but everybody knew. They are opposite of Moondog, and everybody knew. Yes, there it is.
That's awesome.
Yes, it is. It is crazy
Man,
music.
yeah. Man, but I appreciate this so much. Thank you so much.
It was wonderful to think about that project, that film, and going back to my thoughts and to my remembering. I
Hmm.
have to say thank you.